There are several shapes available in Figma and we will cover all of them. So let's go and see which of them do we have here. As you see, the first one is rectangle. So I will scale like this and try to copy these things, or even I will create them from the scratch. Okay, it's a rectangle. If I create it becomes 100 by 100, but I want to make it bigger. Let's say if I set this to 350, it goes like this. But if I press this button, this means to lock ratio of the sides. If I put here, so you see it goes proportionally. Okay, I will turn it off and set it probably to this or to this. Yeah, looks similar. I can use the fill-in. What can I do to use the same color? I can select this rectangle and copy the color, or I can use this tool to paste the color to pick the color from somewhere else. So if you want, and actually if you notice, there is such a zoom over here when you use a color picker, so it allows you to pick the color very, very precisely. I want to use so it shows you the whole document pixel by pixel. Okay, and the other way to use these colors that I used before. Okay, I'll send this here. Now I'd like to create a rectangle. I copy this one. I'd like to create a square and change its size. What else do I have? I can make it corners round. Okay, if I want, I can create some of the corners round, and to do this I have to click here, and you see there are 40 pixels at each corner. But if I want, for example, I want to put this rectangle to the side, and I want two left corners to be square and two right corners to be round. So this way I have to find which of these settings belong to each corner. There is a hint over here. This is the first corner, it's top left, and it goes with around the clock. So if I want to change this to 0, and if I want to change the bottom left corner, I have to set this one. Okay, so as I said, we can attach it to the side or something like this. Okay, let's set them back to 0. And all of the options are pretty similar that we touched before. The next are lines. There are different lines, and I can select the line tool and draw the line. What do we have from our settings? I can set incline of the line. I'll set it to 0, it will be horizontal. I will set it to 90, it will be a vertical line. I'll bring them back. Width. You see we don't have the height because it is a line, it doesn't have a height, it has a stroke. If I want to make it shorter, I will put 500. And if I want to make it thicker, I have to use this setting. Let's set it to 20, even to 30 to see everything. And that's it. We have a line 500 by 30. What else do we have? If I want, I can make some of the corners of the line to be round, actually not corners, but sides of the line. To do this, I have to double click on the line to go into the dot editor mode. I can edit each dot or each point. For example, I select this one and then I have to go here and make it round. So as you see, there are two different sides of the line. If I want to set both of them, I don't pick any side, any dot, and just set square, set round. Actually, I can set arrows, we will look at them a little later. And that's it. There are some another settings over here, dashes. Let's set 10 and 10. No, it's too little. Let's say 50 and 50. Here they are. Actually, if we set its stroke to 1 pixel, the length of each dash will be equal to the length of each space, but because of the stroke we see such small spaces and big dashes. So let's set it to 1 pixel, and as you see, now they are the same. But when I make this thicker, it goes like this, because as you see, actually the end of the line setting is here at this point, but when I add this stroke, it goes further, and the same with each space. That's why spaces become smaller, and the dashes become wider, longer. So if I have such a line of 30 pixels, and if I want to make them equal, I have to set something like this. Actually, you can calculate exactly which parameters to set here, but visually they are almost the same. Okay, what else do we have with the lines? Let's copy paste it. Let's remove the dashes. Okay, we can set its color. Again, it isn't set here in the fill option. You see, nothing happens because the line doesn't have the filling option. It has a stroke, and I can change its color over here, or make it orange. Okay, so I think we covered all the settings. I won't repeat each of them. It's obvious that if I want to make it something similar to this one, I have to set it probably to something like this, to set cap to round and make it okay. Yes, it's over here, and make it thicker, maybe to, I don't know, 50. That looks pretty similar. Now arrows. As you've seen, arrows are pretty similar to lines. Actually, it is the same object in Figma, but for convenience they put it into the separate point, to the separate tool. If we want to create an arrow, we can use this one, or we can turn each or any line into arrow. Let's do from the menu, as we've done. Set this to 0. Now set this to, say, 20. Okay. If I select some point and use this tool, I change this again. Yeah, pretty obvious. But there is one downside with arrows in Figma, as for me. Set it again to line arrow, and if I want these arrow wings sides to be bigger, I have to set the stroke thicker. In this case it goes bigger, but if I want to leave the stroke the same and to make this bigger, I can't do this in Figma. In this case I have to draw it manually. Select the line, and to draw it like this, for example. But this won't be that easy, and I don't like this method because it's manual and it's or maybe so I have to like this, then I copy this line and to make it like this, and then yes. So as you see, I can do this, or actually I changed the angle of the arrow. It's probably 45 degrees. I set it to 30. And now I can combine all these lines into one object. I can use this Boolean operation union. So I unite the selection and I get my arrow. Okay. Let's make them orange. If you want to set the color of different objects, you can select all of them, as I did right now, and there is a menu, selection colors, and I'm not sure about, yes, I've set filling of some of these objects to red. That's why I see it and I don't see it at the canvas. But if I want to turn all black objects into orange, obviously I have to select this color and change it to our orange one. Yes, and now they're the same. I think we are done with arrows, and let's move to circles. We have circles and ovals over here, and let's do it from the scratch. I can select this tool, I can send this to, let's say, 300. The other way to do this is to use a scale tool. If I use scale tool, I resize it proportionally. If I use move tool, it will go like this. But I think I'm happy with this size. Okay, I have a circle, set its color, and what options do I have here? Now let's copy it and paste, and as you see I have these point over here, and I can drag it or pull it, and that's happening. Let's see the other options. After I pulled this dot and made this segment, two new points appeared over here. This one is for rotating object. This one is the same that we did before, and this one allows you to do like this. So we have three different objects made from a circle. And let's do the same with the ovals. So I'll copy paste this one. Okay, I'll make it oval. Okay, and I can pull these. I have to. You see, I pulled this into the center and nothing changed. But if I pull it against the clock, voila. And if I want to yes. And how to make this circle? Let's obviously do this. Pull this point over here. Yes, and we have this circle with a hole inside of it. Let's move to polygons. This is another tool that we have here, another shape. When we create a polygon, it makes a triangle, and there are several options. Let's set it to orange. By default, it makes a shape of with equal sides. There are several options. This one sets the quantity of angles. Let's set it to 10. This one makes the corners round. Let's set it to these. And as you see, I can do this with these points. I rotate this point and I get more angles. Okay, let's stick with this one, and if I do this, I can get some another shape. Okay, and if you want to get some random shape from this, you can double click it and pull this. Oops. Zoom it. Okay, yes. You can do like this, or you can add some points. Oh, here we are. Actually, you can do even like this to create such shapes. I can say that I use polygon tool that much, but if you want to create some complex objects, probably you will use this tool. And the last shape that we have is a star. Okay, let's create some stars. I can scale it down, make it smaller, and this is the quantity of angles. Let's make it like these, and these. Okay, let's set it manually. It's 20%, it's 80%. So you can create stars of any shape that you'd like. Okay, and of course you can do this here. Up, up. This will change quantity of your beams, and this will make it round. So with this tool you can easily create, for example, a star rating for your buttons. So for these, let's make it a little, yes, more sharp, and just duplicate this couple times. I have five stars, and if you want to make them staying in a line, you can select all these shapes. As you see, there are not 2 of them, but there are 5 stars over here, and you can use this tool, arrange, and distribute horizontal spacing. In this case they will go like this, and I can set this spacing and change it. After you apply this tool, horizontal spacing, horizontal distribution with spacing, you can always change this, or even do these, and let's make them yellow. So it's 5-star rating now. Okay, that's it with the stars. And now let's see how to combine different shapes to using Boolean operations or Boolean groups to create different shapes of complicated structure. So for this, let's create a rectangle, okay, and a circle. Okay, and try to make something from them. So as you see, there are different shapes here, and what's the difference? The first one is just 2 shapes, one under another. Let's copy paste it. Oops. And another way to organize them is to group them. I can right click it and group the selection. As you see, there is a group over here, and these objects are organized into group. The other way is to frame this selection, to make a frame of 2 these objects. I can right click it and frame selection. In this case I have a frame. The difference between groups and frames is that frame has more settings, and you can use different options like auto layout or some others with the frames. And group is just a union, even not a union, it's just a group of two objects. And let's move to union. Copy paste this and let's unite to these things. Actually, we did it before when we created that arrow. Now let's do it again. I united this circle and rectangle, and as you see, there is an icon that represents its new shape. And from this point, this is a single object. All these things contain two separate objects, and I can select this circle and make it blue. I can do this with all these three variants, but after I united them, I can do like this, but it doesn't work. And just remember that if you united some objects, use the fill-in to change color of them. Okay, and let's see which methods do we have to unite or to cut one from another. We have to pay attention at which of these shapes is above and which is on the top, which is on the bottom, when we use all these another tools. For example, if I subtract this selection, you see that ellipse is on the top. When I click it, the top element is subtracted from the bottom one, and I get this thing. Let's copy paste it again, and in this case I will change their order and do it again, and I have this one. Okay, now let's use this option, and if I want to exclude one from another, obviously I select them and use this tool, and I have a hole over here. As you see, there are a lot of Boolean operations that you can use with your shapes, and combining all these tools and all these shapes, you can create shape whatever you want.